Hello and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to learn about the nomenclature of alkanols, which are also known as alcohols. So, what are alcohols, or what characterizes alcohols? So, alcohols are characterized by this, where the OH, known as the hydroxyl, represents what we call a functional group. So all the alcohols should have the hydroxyl. Let's look at some of the examples. So we can have CH3OH, which represents what we call methanol. So they carry, this is very important, they carry a suffix of O, NOL. So they carry a suffix of NOL. So we have methanol, we have CH3CH2OH, which is ethanol. We have CH3CH2CH2OH, which is propanol. So we'll notice that they end in NOL. We have butanol, CH3CH2 CH2OH, which is butanol, and the list goes on and on. Now, using the UPAC, you can be asked to name some of the alcohol compounds that can be a bit complex. So we are guided by the rules of the UPAC. Let's look at some of the examples. So we'll say name the following compounds. So let's say, for example, we are given something like this: CH2, CH3. So what could be the name of this particular compound? So when we look at this from a structural point of view, we are looking at something like this, right? So to name this particular compound, what is important is to recognize the presence of the functional group, which is the OH. So the counting should start from where the functional group is. So the correct counting will be 1, 2. Therefore, this particular compound, when we consider the functional group, we'll say 1, then we can look at the longest chain. So in this case, we have 2 carbons, which means eth, and this will be called 1-ethanol. Now, we can look at a different example. Let's say we have something like CH3, CHOH, CH2, CH3. So here, again, what is important is to recognize the functional group. So the functional group is OH. So we recognize the functional group, and how do we start counting? So we start counting from a carbon that is closer to the hydroxyl. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. If we start from this side, it's going to be wrong because our hydroxyl is going to be on the third position. So how do we name this particular compound? So we start by stating the position of the double bond. The position of the hydroxyl functional group. So 2. Then what is the longest chain? So it's 4 carbons, meaning but. So this becomes butanol. Let's look at another example. In a situation where we have something like this, then CH2, then OH. So we have 2 of the hydroxyl. So in chemistry, we said 2 means di. Then this we're going to just add OL and it becomes diol. So every time we have the presence of 2 hydroxyl, we use what we call diol. So how are we going to name this? So we start counting. So our correct counting in this case is going to be, because we have hydroxyl this side, hydroxyl this side. So if I start from here, this will be 1, this will be 2. If I start from the other side, it will still be the same thing, 1, 2. So what will be the name of this? So this will be called 1, 2 hyphen. Then what is the longest chain? The longest chain is 2 carbons, which is ethane. So here we just write ethane, then diol. So this is the name that we're going to use. Let's look at an example where we are given 3 of those. So this was 3. Let's look at 4. Let's say we have HO, CH2, OH, CH2. Let's say OH or something like this. So here we have 3 of these now. So there's this one, there's that one, there's this one. So how do we name this particular compound? So our counting will be 1, 2, 3. So we are saying at position number 1, number 2, and number 3, we have hydroxyls. So we have 3 of those hydroxyls. So 3 means tri. So this will be added to OL to give us what we call triol. If there were 4, it could have been tetra. So triol, what is the name of this compound? So we'll say 1, 2, 3. Then how many carbons? What is the number of the longest chain? 3. So 3 means propane. So we say propane, then triol. So that will be the name of that particular compound. Now, let's look at a bit more complex compound, if we can say. Let's say we have Number 5. Let's look at example number 5. Let's say we have HO, CH2, then CH double bond, CH, okay, CH2. Now, in this case, what we're looking at is we have a double bond and we have a hydroxyl. So we have hydroxyl and we have the presence of a double bond. So which one do we prioritize? So we always prioritize a functional group. So in this case, hydroxyl is a priority. So when you start counting, we start counting from where hydroxyl is. So this is 1, 2, 3. So how do we name this particular compound? So we first start by recognizing the presence of a double bond. So this will be 2 hyphen. What is the name of this particular compound? So it's supposed to be 2 propene. So what we write here now becomes propene without putting the E. Then we recognize the presence of the alcohol. So we say at position 1, then OL. So this is how we're going to call this particular compound. Let's look at another example similar to what we have looked at as number 6. Let's say we have CH3, CH, it's a double bond, CH, let's say CH also, OH, CH3. So how do we name this particular compound? So remember, the counting should prioritize the hydroxyl. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that at position number 3, we could have said 3-pentene. So we're going to remove that. So to name this particular compound, we'll say 3, then pent. Then we recognize the presence of a double bond, which is 2, then OL. So that will be the name of that particular compound. Now let's look at something more interesting where we combine alcohols and cyclocompounds. I will give the first example. So if we have something like this, then OH. So when we are counting, we start counting from where the functional group is. And in this case, our functional group is hydroxyl. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be called 1 cyclohexanol. 1 cyclohexanol. Now, if we get the same compound and then we have probably CH3 as a substituent. So when you start counting, you prioritize the hydroxyl. So your counting will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because here, when you check your locant, you have 1 hydroxyl at position 1 and you have at position 3 methyl, so your locant is 4. But you can do the opposite counting, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for this one, you realize that at position 1 you have hydroxyl, but at position number 5 you have methyl, which gives you a 6. So this one is wrong. So the correct counting is that one. So how do you name this particular compound? So let's say this is 2. This particular compound will be, the correct counting is 3 methyl, then the position of your hydroxyl is 1, then you say cyclohexanol. That'll be the name of that particular compound. Let's look at example 3. Let's have something like this, then OH, and CH3. So we have a methyl as a functional group and we have hydroxyl. So the counting is the same, 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do we name this? So even if you go the other direction, still both substituents will be in the same positions. So this will be called 3 methyl, then 1 cyclobutanol. Cyclobutanol. What of a situation where you have something like this, and then you have OH and RH? So when you do the counting, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So meaning at position 1 and position 4, then you say cyclohexane. So it's going to be cyclohexane. Then because you have 2 of those, it's going to be diol. Cyclohexane diol. Now let's look at where an example where double bonds are involved. So we have a double bond here, then we have the OH there. So how do we name this? So again, the priority is given to the hydroxyl. So the hydroxyl gets a priority, so it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might be wondering why we're not going the other direction. So when we check the locant for this, you have at position 1 hydroxyl, then position number 2 you have a double bond. So this gives you a locant of 3. But if you go the other direction, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 1, position 1 you have hydroxyl. Then position number 5 you have a double bond, then you get the 6. So this is the wrong counting. Always go for a locant which is smaller. So in this case, what will be the name of this particular compound? So we start by recognizing the position of a double bond. So it's going to be 2, then cyclo. So it will be cyclohexane. Cyclohexane. Then you state the position of the alcohol, then OL. So pretty much the same thing. Let's look at 6. Maybe we have something like this, and there's a double bond here. Sorry, there's OH there, and there's CH3. So how do you count for this one? So remember, you're going to look at priorities. So there's this, and then there's a double bond. So the correct counting will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So how do we name this? So we say 4-methyl. Then position number 2, we have a double bond. So we say cyclo. So it's going to be butene, then 1-OL. So that will be name. Let me give you something that you can try on your own. So let's say we have something like this. Then there's OH, CH2, CH3, then 8, we have yeah, just those two. Then you can post the answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching.